Welcome to the Upshot Interview Series. This is episode number 22, and today we're joined by Garrett "DoubleG" Gurthie. He finished second in the Portland Open this weekend behind Simon Lizotte after some drama on hole 18. We'll talk to him about that and a whole lot more, including his craft jerky business, how he left the tour back in the middle of the 2010s and then rejoined the tour, what his experience watching disc golf grow has been like, and how he's come up from being a disc golf kid to being truly one of the best professionals in the world. It's a great interview. Josh Mansfield can't join us today. He's in city council meetings all day long for Pocatello, so he will have to be back tomorrow for our Thursday show. Without further ado, Garrett Gurthie, aka DoubleG, joins us right here on the Upshot Interview Series. He's next. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. And you know what? They make more than just disc golf bags. Check out their new Fly Pack. You can find it on the website, pounddiscgolf.com. It is the maximum carry-on size travel pack that you've been looking for. Backpack straps, or you can take those off and convert it into a duffel. It's got room for a laptop, a tablet, your clothes, your stuff, and you know what? Some disc golf discs, because obviously you're going to bring some on vacation. $299.99, and it's just a beautiful bag. You got to check it out. It's available in multiple colorways. Go to pounddiscgolf.com to check out the Fly Pack so that you can travel in style. Joining me now on the Upshot Interview Series is Garrett Gurthie, aka DoubleG, who just finished second at the Portland Open this past weekend. An incredible battle with Simon Lizotte, Garrett. With a couple of days after the tournament, how are you processing it? I'm sure it's disappointing to lose, but it couldn't have been more fun to watch.
Well, I'm taking it all in, and there's been several times that I've told myself, why did I throw a sidearm on the last shot when I could have thrown two easy shots? But, that's that's the question everyone's going to ask themselves for a while. But based on my play and performance, I can't really be too down on myself for giving myself the chance and the opportunities. I mean, after the first two holes, I had 16 holes left and I was down 4. To come back on Simon to even have a chance to tie it up, I think was a goal in itself. So I'm still taking it pretty good. I'm still getting a bunch of positive emails and Facebook messages and Instagram messages. So I appreciate all the messages out there that are coming in. Not one of them has been negative. So I'm just trying to take this momentum and go into the Beaver State Fling and be ready for this one.
Well, you brought it up first, so I do want to ask you about the decision to throw the forehand. So Simon goes OB. What goes through your mind at that point, and why did you ultimately decide that you wanted to throw sidearm?
So the ultimate decision came down to the rain started coming down just a little bit right on the 18th hole when Simon decided to throw his shot. I tried to play the quick play to just bounce a hyzer sidearm around the second Mando tree, which I failed to do so, but that was the plan, was just to throw a spike hyzer right where about Paul did. And I knew worst comes to worst, if I par the hole, we're going into a playoff. So I got up there, and that was the one shot. I rushed just a little bit too fast. Every single shot of the whole tournament, I took my time, I analyzed it, and that just goes to show all the people out there that it's never over until it's over, and make the smartest decisions you can. And, it's something I learned from, and something you have to kind of bite your tongue about. But at the same time, I was in contentions, and I chose to do the sidearm, and that's something that I'll have to live with. So next time I'm throwing the backhand with my Rock 3.
Makes sense. Well, I mean, broadly though, you played great disc golf this weekend. I mean, it's no shame to lose to Simon, who's red hot right now.
For
Uh,
sure.
we were talking on the show yesterday about your putting really being well above your average. I was just curious to ask you about that. Is that something that you've been working on specifically, the putting? Do you feel like you just kind of had a hot weekend, or is this something of signs of things to come?
Uh, I want to say that each year I've kind of had I want to say my good part of my season at some point. It's usually been the beginning. So, being thus far in the season, I feel like I'm starting to get everything together and practice what I need to practice rather than practicing stuff that I don't really need to practice. I've been really great off the tee pad. So, playing the course to me is getting a visual in my practice round, go out there, practice the course, and we can find any basket to practice on. So, yeah, if there's a couple places here and there that look a little sketchy and you might land but near the green, I might practice some putts, but I try to separate my practice if I like to play the course. Like for instance, if we go out and play Milo, I'm not really worried about making all the putts where I'm throwing from. I want to make sure I'm throwing the disc well. And on a side note, later in the day, I'll go out and dedicate an hour or so to putting and putting only. So I like to separate my practices to kind of get me in two different zones, and I don't like to practice too much before my event. So, like 30 to 40 minutes is when you'll catch me around the practice area. People ask me why not longer. I just don't like to think about things too long, and I like running on adrenaline. And me showing up with 30 minutes just kind of gets my heart pumped up a little bit and amped up. So that's my style, and will continue to do so. And it worked this past weekend, and I just owe a lot of it to my disc dots for me giving me something a little bit better to aim for on the chains rather than every chain that looks the same. So I've been bunching them up four at a time and just trying to hit any of those four dots. You know, knocking the dots off the chains is a goal of mine, and I've been doing that pretty good lately. And I'm gonna keep putting every day.
Yeah. It, I couldn't quickly confirm this, but you got $6,250 for the win, or for the second place finish this weekend. Is that the highest check you've gotten from a tournament in your career?
Yeah, being second place, that still beats my Masters Cup. I want to say I won 5,000 for first place there. So second place, 6,250 isn't too bad. I would have liked that 10K though.
I'm curious how, you've been around the game a long time. And, you've seen disc golf grow from being, a relatively small sport into something that's feeling like it's still getting bigger every day. We saw huge crowds out in Portland. What's that experience been like for you to kind of see the evolution of the game?
To see the evolution of the game, it's been great. I got to see both sides of it from growing up as a little kid, watching Climo, Ron Russell, Brad Hammock. I can keep going on and on. John McRae. Um, those guys, they kind of started making the way for us and paving the way. And we kept saying 10 years, 15 years from now, we'll be making some really good money. And uh, here it is. Disc golf starting to take off. So I did get to see both sides of it, where disc golf didn't have any video back in the day. I was all up on the bags, caddying for all the pros. I was at I wouldn't say super annoying kid, but definitely driven kid to take someone's bag and learn from the best. So I got to caddy for Cam Todd from start to finish whenever he won his uh, world championship title. So I feel like that was pretty cool experience of mine in the past. And now these days, these kids are just learning everything off the internet and keeping up with us pros and learning as fast as they can. I wish we had that when we were, you know, their age, but now that they have it, we see the sport just growing in the right direction. So uh, I'm loving it, and I appreciate all the camera crews that have come out and done work and that are putting in work. So the dedication to all of us, not just the players, but the camera crews, have been outrageous, because they're putting their whole life on the line to come travel and watch us and capture every single shot that we throw. So hats off to those guys. It wasn't like that back in the day. So the evolution's just really growing, and I want to say we're like 210,000 members. I could be wrong, but 210,000 members. When I joined in 1998, I was 13,864. So um, that right there just goes to show you the numbers and the jump of the evolution of the game. So the courses are getting further. The technology of the discs, they're making the discs where we can throw them still 650. If not, they're still pushing the bar to make the discs go further. So the disc golf game has just come around night and day from the time I was watching the Cobras and the Stingrays. Now we're watching Destroyers and, all the high speed drivers from all the other companies. So it's really cool to see the change.
So you were on tour, and then in the middle of the decade, you were not on tour, 2014, 15, 16. And then, of course, now you're back. Why'd you stop? What brought you back, and what keeps you out there now?
To be honest, it made me stop. I was kind of in a funk. Traveling's hard, at first with the grind. Back in the day, we weren't making the money we were making. So I wanted to make something a little bit more permanent, and I had a really good job. I worked for a company that did prosthetics and implants. So I was just very close to take over a 3D printing machine job, which was pretty good at the time, 4 or 5 years ago when the 3D machines started coming out. And these are to make, prosthetics and implants for the body. So it was a pretty important job. But I was staying at Jacksonville for the I was staying at New World Sports Complex in Jacksonville, Florida, when the Disc Golf Pro Tour finale came to Jacksonville. So it literally came to the course. I was staying on site in a fifth wheel. So when that happened, the few years I was working a nighttime job. So I kind of lost track of disc golf a little bit as far as social media wise, and the videos that's been happening that I had no clue about. Like, I had no clue that disc golf was being videoed like it was. So when I found that out, and I seen all the camera crews that came to Jacksonville when I was literally living on site and running the pro shop up at New World, a couple days a week, not all the time, but I would see these camera crews get here with all the pros in town, and it just inspired me. I said, man, they didn't have this back in the day. And when me, Climo, Johnny McRae were out there battling, and, national tours and A tiers, there's none of that. So, straight away.
That inspired you to come back out on the road.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. That inspired me to get back on the road. I had some friends that believed in me. My friend Christian, he said, man, we need to get you a camper trailer so you could live in it and travel on the road. And so that's what we did. Jessica inspired me a little bit. She gave me the inside information on how the tour was going and the direction it was going in. So that's another influence that got me back on the tour would be Jessica. So I appreciate that for her telling me all the tournaments that are going on that we could be playing. And man, I missed it. And I was just born to play disc golf. I know whenever I was about 10 or 11, they asked me what I was going to do when I grew up in a disc golf interview. And with my little country accent, I said, I'm going to be a professional disc golfer. So can't be too mad.
That's awesome.
Following the
So
dream.
there's two competing factors going on, as I see it. Right now, you have more young players coming up who can throw further than ever, and the average ability of players, as it does in all sports, is continuing to advance. I'm sure that you've, seen some of these young kids, Gannon Burr, others coming up who are very impressive. Meanwhile, courses are getting longer, and distance is becoming maybe even at a higher premium. Do you think you have more of an advantage now than you did 5 or 10 years ago, given the fact that you're one of the longest throwers on tour, maybe number one? Or do you think it's reduced because other players are starting to catch up to you?
I think my experience is starting to come into play a lot more than just distance, Distance isn't everything, but being able to pinpoint a 550-foot drive to a 450-foot drive is definitely an advantage. So I would say I do have an advantage now because I'm older. I've phased out the whole trying to go for everything. And back in the day, I think that's where it drove me away from the tour was I would just go for everything and I'd find myself just limping in 15th, 20th place a lot. But I was young and my mental game wasn't there yet. And now I like to play, like we call it, a lot more golf than just going for everything. Um, my my decisions have been changed a lot. I focus more. I take my time. Just like any kind of routine, I gotta give it the same time every single time and just chase it, man. Just chase it. Um, sometimes you get caught up in things that might not be going right, but at the same time you gotta make sure all aspects are firing in the game. So never, if you're lacking the drive, you got to go back and throw the drives in the field. But these courses are definitely favoring me these days, and I feel like that I do have an upper hand advantage if they're going to keep pushing these courses longer. My downfall is I just need to stay up on my putting game, and if I do that, I think the advantage will work out.
Was it surprising for you to be up at the top battling with Simon Lizotte? I mean, in some ways, it felt like a little bit of a throwback to have the two of you guys up at the top. And, Paul Macbeth was in the mix for a while, of course. And, there were some young, almost rookies up near the top as well. But this vintage battle taking place, does it surprise you? I mean, when I hear you talk about what you just said, it sort of makes me think about how Simon's game has evolved as well.
Right. I would say it doesn't surprise me, being that when I practice the course, I told my friends this Glendoveer's and Milo's my top two courses in the whole world, and Glendoveer's made the top 5 for me, and I said that before the event started.
Wow.
It's a gorgeous course. I mean, the big trees are there. If you hit a tree, it's your fault. The trees are huge. So they really define the fairways. Dustin, Jeff, whoever put in their hard work out there, all the Disc Golf Pro Tour crew for setting it up. They did a great job on pinpointing places where to put OB. And I feel like they just did a really fantastic job of, they even made the course 1,000 feet shorter than the previous year, and they still made it look good. So in my opinion, they're doing great with the courses. Keep it up, and everything should play great here on out.
So Milo's in your top 2. What's number 1 for you?
Well, both of the courses they take up slot 1 and 2.
Got it.
Milo West, Milo East. That's my favorite place on earth to play. So I'm excited to give this one a bid as well. I want to say last time I was practicing with Jessica and Lisa Fakis, I told them, I said, I'm going to give this one a chance this weekend. And I want to say that was 2018. I was on the lead card for the whole week. So I'm excited to go out to my favorite place. And I know Simon isn't going to be here. So hopefully, who knows, it could be me and Paul battle, me and whoever. I'm ready. I'm ready to go make them putts and give this one a go, because this will be one I'll always remember. Milo, my favorite courses. I'd love a
It's
win here.
it's so great to see that Milo didn't get damaged by the fires a couple years ago. Obviously, this event hasn't happened for a few years because it was an NT.
Yep.
We had COVID, then they couldn't get it going last year. It's back as a silver series. Does that change anything in your mind about how meaningful it would be for you to win? The fact that it's not on the the DGPT proper.
The only thing I'd say is, I'd like to win it on a 4-round, but because you get to play both course twice. But that'll leave me thirsty and wanting to come back for more. And hopefully next year we'll come back and it'll be an elite series. I'm not sure how that works, but I'm gonna keep playing it till they stop bringing it here to Milo, because we missed it for a couple years and we're itching to get back out there. After this interview, we're gonna be out there practicing both courses.
I was going to ask if have you played it yet this week, or is today first time out?
Monday went out there after the tournament and threw some shots. Didn't really play the course, but putted out there for a couple hours. And like I said, I'm trying to keep the rhythm of the putt just going. And I feel like if I don't stop from last week, whenever I was putting well, I can bring it into next week. So that's the plan. And like I said, I want this one even more now that I came up one short on the last one. I'm going to give this one a bid. I feel it.
Yeah, you must feel so confident with the putter right now. I mean, you were dropping bombs this weekend, like from everywhere.
Yep. I've been known to putt like that sometimes, and whenever they go in, I'm dangerous.
Do you get the feeling like you in that zone, you loft one up there and you're like, it's going in? Like, it's going out of the hand? There's
days that I just can't miss, and like a lot more practice rounds I have that happening than the competition, being it's, a competitive round and it's not as lackadaisical as it could be. So with pressure, it is a lot harder. But me going back and watching the footage, my focus was on point, and watching film like anybody, I'm going to try to keep up the same pace, keep up the same focus, and stay dialed for Beaver State Fling.
How does your win at Masters Cup back in 2019 compare to your experience, playing on the lead card at Portland Open this weekend? Did it feel different in terms of the pressure or the energy or anything like that?
Honestly, it felt the same as whenever I was at the Masters Cup. And with me saying that, I really know that I need to stay focused whenever I'm on the course more. And I find myself getting out of my zone, or just, I find myself lost out there sometimes. And I finally know what it takes to stay dialed out there and to recover after a bad shot, because bad shots happen here and there, but you can kind of control it for the most part, as long as you're staying dialed and practicing your putts and practicing everything that comes with it. And that's one thing, is keeping your eyes on the target and eyes down the field and where you want to land. So those are my keys to success, and we'll keep going with those.
What was your best shot at Portland Open that sticks with you?
I mean, I know it was only to put me in contentions for a birdie, but the shot I threw about 700 feet down the hill, I can't really think of the hole offhand, excuse me for that. But, I mean, whenever I threw that shot just absolutely perfect, I felt like nothing can go wrong. And on the last hole, that's right, whenever I got to the last hole, I said, just do what you did on that hole and just pump it down the fairway and put it right there in the center. And aim for the trees with the Mando sign and put it right there where I wanted. And the momentum was flowing, but I took my focus off for just a second, and that's what happens. So I'm learning. I'm learning every day.
All right. I really want to hear a little bit about the Jerky business. This is like one of the most iconic business things going on in disc golf, at least as it relates to a player. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, how did you get started and say like, I want to do a jerky company?
As a kid, I think everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of the kids love beef jerky growing up, and I was one of those kids. And anytime I had a chance to play with my adult friends, they always carried jerky with them out at my home course. And I was always that kid that would play with them and say, "Hey, you got any jerky?" I was a bigger kid, so I love to eat. Who doesn't? But um, jerky just was a snack that I could eat while I was out at the course all day, and I didn't really have to leave. And it kind of proves today that that's kind of still how it works. Is we got people coming out to watch disc golf, and we want them to have a snack and not have to leave the course, go get lunch, and come back. And that was kind of a a start of it. But the jerky came up. I was at the bowling alley working one day, and we had all the supplies that we needed. My friend brought me a neck roast from his deer that he shot, and he's like, "Hey, make some jerky with this." I was like, "Man, this is probably gonna be pretty gamey," but we had a meat slicer, we had the soy sauce, we had the teriyakis and all the other seasonings. And so I used what our bowling alley had and sliced up some neck roast off of the deer. And the next batch I did was some beef because I wanted to try it with someone else's meat that they offered for free before I messed up a whole batch of jerky. So went to Publix, got some meat. They sliced it for me in the deli, threw it in a bowl, marinated overnight, came into work the next day, put it on the dehydrator, and it was just like gold the first time I ever made it. It was kind of awesome. Like, man, this is how you make it. I got it. So ever since I was 16 years old, excuse me, I've just been fooling around with beef jerky. And past few years when we were on the road, I would actually bring my seal a meal. I'd bring seal bags, labels, Sharpies, and me and Jessica would make our own beef jerky. She'd help me. We'd bag it up and we'd sell it to, all the pros that were traveling, and not just the pros, but the camera crews too in the beginning. Like Jomez, they were like my biggest customer. As soon as I made a batch, like a private batch, like their camera crews would buy like $60 worth of jerky from me. And I'm like, shoot, I should have made more. Because like by the time you're down selling it, trying to make a little bit of money while you're on the road, but um, you run out and you don't have any of the beef jerky, so it's kind of bittersweet. Uh, Ted, my business partner, tried my jerky. He said, "Man, we need to get this on a scale. Like we need to get this out there for the masses because you make some mean beef jerky." So my partner Ted, partner Jim, we all came together. We had some meetings, and we said, "This is what we want to do, and this is how we're going to do it." And now we got DoubleG Craft Jerky out to the masses. We're getting it in players packages. We got it at disc golf shops, Ace Hardwares. We're getting around. So I think we're close to 100 brick and mortar stores. And if you're a brick and mortar store and you want your chance to hold DoubleG Craft Jerky, just head on over to doublegjerky.com, and the site will lead you through the way to do the rest. Another cool thing we do is each bag sold, a portion of each sale goes to the DoubleG Children's Foundation, and it helps kids in need that need disc golf gear. And we sponsor a few of the kids as well. Jocan, right? We got Trinity, we got Emanuele, one from Virginia, one from Florida, one from California. They're all great kids. We're helping them get to tournaments. We're helping them sign up for some tournaments. And if anything ever happens between any families and there's crises going on and people need help, they reach out to us. DoubleG Craft Jerky likes to support the disc golf community. So that's what we're going to continue to do. So I know when our family was struggling growing up, our family was one of the disc golf families that the disc golf community supported over and over and over again. I mean, when my mom was going through surgeries in the 03, 05 area, Discraft didn't even sponsor me, but they sent 100 Z magnets back in the day to raise some money for my mom's surgery. So, like I said, I can go on and on about the support and the clubs, and I miss more school for disc golf tournaments, but I made sure I made them up because the support that I had, they always told me, make sure you get your schoolwork done first, and then we support you, and that's what I did. So it's been a long journey. It's been a great one, and the disc golf community rocks, and they continue to buy DoubleG craft jerky day in, day out, and I can't thank each person enough that buys DoubleG craft jerky. They're really fueling my retirement, so haven't touched any of the money, trying to win all the money on the disc golf course for now. Let the jerky money come in and have that to retire on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's so great to hear you talk about that kind of from start to finish. How involved are you at this point in like flavor design? It's not like you're making the bags of jerky on the road and then shipping it out. So you must have some kind of distribution partner or manufacturing partner at this point. How involved are you though?
I'm involved. I was involved a bit before the season starts or before we started up the company. As far as the flavors go, I'm in full control of the flavors and what we use, and what's going to be our next flavor. I might not be the only one to say, but maybe the next pro that might have their new flavor will have their say in the flavor as well. But I'll give them some options. Excuse me. And if they like any of those options, we'll run with it and see if they like it. We'll make a batch, see if they like it, and then we'll make sure their bags are ready to go. It's been really fun working with Nate, Paul. We got works for Eagle coming up for a plant-based jerky. And so for the vegan world, stay tuned for that. That should be available pretty soon by the end of the month. We're going to shoot for, but no promises. But Eagle McMahon will have his own plant-based jerky, and he's been doing all the tasting for that because I'm a meat eater, and I would really hate to say this is really good and be a really bad call for the vegan world. So I'm going to let Eagle stand by his word, and they can go by Eagle's word and see if they like it. But I will try it. I will taste it. And I have nothing against the plant-based. So hopefully everyone likes it.
Yeah. So when you do these jerkies for the various pros, do they get a cut of the sales or something? Like, is there a business arrangement going on there?
Absolutely. It's kind of like a tour series disc, but it's, they're jerky. So Paul Macbeth, he chooses to have his funds go to the Paul Macbeth Foundation. And if a player wants it to go directly to them, we'll let it go directly to them. But as far as now, they got foundation set up, and it's kind of helping contribute to their foundation and help them do what they need with it and spread the love of disc golf all over the world. Paul's been going places and setting up courses in different countries, which is great. So we support that 100%. So anyone trying to grow the sport, hit us up. If there's anything we can help with, we'll help you.
All right. So I think I asked you about this last time we had you on the show, which maybe was in 2019. I'd have to look it up. I wouldn't be surprised if we had you on right after you won Masters Cup. But the Sonic, how did the Sonic become your, I'm trying to throw this in, and, just your general approach disc of choice?
That came about with living in Florida and taking your best disc that's forgiving to the beach. So if someone gets hit with it, it's not going to hurt. That's how it all started. And I have 3 brothers and a sister to play catch with. So we always tried to find a disc that we could play catch with that was closest to Ultimate Frisbee, because we all love playing Ultimate Frisbee growing up as well. So the Sonic was that disc. Thankful to Innova, they made such a disc that was similar to a Ultimate Frisbee type throw, not exactly what it looks like, but So with that being said, me having 3 brothers, we would warm up instead of chasing our drives at tournaments playing catch with the Sonic. So, we start at 30 to 50 feet playing catch, and we end at 200 to 300 feet playing catch with 3 brothers. We had to spread out in the field, and we're all different places, throwing at different angles, different shots, and just developing a relationship with the Sonic through my brothers and sister growing up has made that's why the Sonic made the bag. It's a dead straight flyer. You don't have to throw it that hard. You can turn it around corners. You can manipulate the disc any which way. That's kind of why the Sonic made it to my bag. It was a useful tool that I could use shaping shots around anything.
So a somewhat similar disc, the Polecat, has really blossomed in popularity, and there was all this clamoring for a Halo Polecat, and they did it. They did it as part of April Fool's. This is crazy thing. We had the Polecat World Championships. It's like this whole deal. So, Halo Sonics when?
Oh, man. If we can ever learn how to stack the Halo Sonics or any Sonics at all, they'd be out soon. But with the amount of fans and the people messaging me, I have let Innova know. So it's in their hands. I can't really say if there are any in the future or not, but I really hope so because I'm running low. So if they make a new batch, I'll be sure to at least throw 15 to 20 of them in my personal collection so I don't have to run out. They're hard to go through in the star plastic, but at the same time, they're always nice to have extras.
Right. All right. So I guess, as you kind of think about your future career, anything different for you now than it was 5 years ago? Like when you came back on tour, or do you, whether that's because the sport is changing or because the jerky business is taking off or, other factors, do you foresee a different future 5 years than what we've seen in the previous for you?
Man, I'm here for the long haul, and disc golf is a great career. It keeps us active. There's not much we can do, sitting at home trying to get the same results. So, with that being said, I think I have the best job in the world, and I don't plan on going anywhere. And I'll be around the disc golf world till I'm done throwing. I'm
Awesome.
here for the long haul. Yep.
Well, best of luck to you this weekend at the Beaver State Fling. Looking forward to it. I'll be commentating on the Disc Golf Network on Sunday, so maybe we'll get to see you out there on the lead card.
That sounds really good, Charlie. Hopefully we can keep this momentum going, and you'll be saying DoubleG on the last day.
Awesome. Garrett Gurthie with us here on the Upshot. Thanks so much, DoubleG.
Take care. Thanks for having me.